Hey folks, this is Tom with Network Engineers Playground. If a lot of you other network engineers are like me, you probably have had one of these Raspberry Pis sitting around in one form or another over the years and thought this would be something fun to play with, but you never got around to it and it's just sat in a desk drawer. So this is the Raspberry Pi Zero W. Guess it's a KN3G is the part number, not sure. So this is just a little computer on a board, and what I think I'm going to finally do with this is build a Super NES emulator out of it. Now, I own a bunch of Super NES games and a Super NES. However, though, like right now, I've got my NES out the other day. I'm like, I want to play some good old original Super Mario Brothers, and it's got my Super Mario All-Stars out, you know, ready to play. The thing won't boot up. It just black screen of death. I don't know. I'm going to tear it apart and see if the connector's bad or whatever. But I thought, you know, maybe it's time that I download some ROMs from my favorite games that I own and set up a little emulator that I can plug right into my TV and play my games. I know they make little Nintendo mini things now and all that you can buy, but I had this and I thought this would be a fun project. So the next thing I did once I decided to do this is I bought this little case here off of Amazon, and this has just got different plates and stuff, like one for if you're using a camera, one for if you need to get that connector, but you can mount your little Raspberry Pi Zero right in here. I'll put links to all this down below. Another thing that you're going to need is one of these little micro USB to regular USB females, because you're gonna have two micro USB ports on here. One of these micro USB ports is for charging, and the other one is actually a regular USB port that you can plug a keyboard and stuff into. Well, all your USB devices that you may want to plug in will have to hook to that. So if you want to plug in a keyboard or your controller, that would go in there. The other thing that I have here is just this little 4-port. It's actually got one on the end, 3 ports there, USB hub. This has been around in my laptop bag for years until I got a laptop with more ports and don't really need it anymore. This is just a regular USB 2.0 little passive hub. If you're going to run a lot of controllers and stuff, or you know, you might need to get an active hub that provides power. I think though for a keyboard and a USB controller, this would work fine. So the controller that I decided to get was this Buffalo classic USB gamepad. I got this on Amazon. I think it was like $14 or $15. Again, I'll put links to all this down below. This is a really nice controller. It's made really well, so you want to get a good one to really get that good gaming experience. It said on the box that it came in, it was made in Japan, but it says on the back of it that it's made in China. But it still seems to be a really nice controller. In the gaming Raspberry Pi forums, this is one that everybody recommends. So that's what I ended up getting. So this is a 64 gig USB or a 64 gig micro SD card. You don't need one this big. I just happen to have this laying around because I used to do all my videos on 128s or on 64s, and now I do them on the 128 cards. So this one I'm just going to format and use. It's got an adapter with it, so be careful when you buy this because you will need the micro one. You'll need this little one, and some of these come like with an adapter and they're a micro that you can pull out and use, or you can use it big. I always like to buy mine that way typically. The main reason is that if you break this or something happens, usually the micro part lives and you can just get another adapter to put it in and you don't lose your card. But they also sell them to where there's no card in there. It's all integrated into one full-size SD card. You don't want to buy that. It won't fit in your Raspberry Pi. So just make sure you're getting a micro, because that's going to fit in the little connector right here on the end. So another thing you're going to need is this mini HDMI to regular HDMI. Now you can probably also buy a mini HDMI to regular HDMI cable, and I might do that eventually, but for right now I have this adapter, and you can plug that into this mini HDMI port like that, and then you can plug in a HDMI cable. I got this one because it's pretty flexible, because you know that's not going to take a real stiff cable bending to probably break that connector off, but I probably will get an even more flexible connector at some point and just eliminate this adapter piece and just put a nice flexible mini cable and then to full size to go to the TV, or put the adapter at the TV end if you had one reverse of this. And the other thing that I had to get is a micro USB charger. So from what I've been reading is you're going to want to make sure you get one that's very stable, puts out a nice stable voltage and can handle some current to run these. This one I'm not sure actually how great it is. It's just one that I've had around for a while, but it really charges my phones fast. It seems to work pretty good, so I'm going to give it a shot. If this doesn't work, I'll probably have to get a better quality one, but I'm going to try using what I got before I buy something else. But if you got one that's too chintzy Chinese, you know, if you got a $1 eBay one, it's probably not going to work great for the Raspberry Pi because it needs a nice, stable, clean voltage. So with that, I guess what we need to do is figure out how we put the Raspberry operating system on here. I do believe that there's like an image you can download that has the gaming emulator stuff built already into it, and it boots right up into it. So we'll go ahead and see what we can do there. Okay, so I got my case here. I'm going to see if I can't mount this in this case first. See what we got here. We got, I think this is a camera thing. This is like a little cable if you want to hook up the camera stuff, maybe. We got a couple of little rubber feet that can go on the bottom, and we got some different cases here. It looks like there's going to be this hole on the bottom irregardless, which might be, yeah, that's for accessing that connector if you wanted to. It looks like this one will also let you access it from the top. I kind of like that better if it was all sealed up, I think. But I think this board will just kind of pop down in here. Let's see. If we just take it, I guess, and line it up with these little slots in the back. It's got some little plastic standoffs in there. And it's got a little thing that clicks on, I think. Let's make sure we're all lined up. Good. Yep. That just clicks in there like so and holds your board right in there for you. And then you've got your solid cover, which I don't know how much heat this little board will put out. I may change this to that slotted cover later just to let some air flow through there. But that snaps on and you got a completed computer. That is pretty cool. Alright, so what I did is I just googled RetroPie, and this retropie.org.uk is where we want to go. And then we're going to download, or we're going to say, let's see, there's a download link here at the top. We'll click on that. And then we have a Pi 0, so here's the one for the Pi 0 and Pi 1. And that's downloading. And then I believe the other thing that we have to download, and I already found this, I will put a link to all this down below for you to find it. But it's this thing called Etcher. We want to download that because it's going to allow us to burn this image onto the card. So I got Windows 64-bit, we'll download that. That is open. We'll show that in the folder. screen. Let's just look at downloads. Let's try that. Let's see. Okay, there's our etcher setup, and here's our RetroPie. So let's. Oh, there! It finally opened that folder. Let's go ahead and just open this etcher setup. It's gonna open. Let's see. I guess now these are downloaded, we can close these other windows. There we go. Okay, we'll accept the license agreement. I don't know if I have to format my SD card first or if this will just overwrite it. So first I want to select my image, and that's going to be in downloads, and it's this RetroPie. And we're going to select the drive. No removable drive detected. Well, what is this then? I don't think it's seeing my drive. Alright, so after a bit of digging, I found my little SD card adapter thingy bob. This will actually take the micro SD right on the end by itself, but it also will just take a regular one. So we'll just plug that in there. This can go in my USB port over here. Well, it's not going to clear my network cable that way, so let's see. Okay, so I'm just sticking it in the end here. Then I'm going to plug that in my USB. Let's see if it sees it. Hey, happy Windows 10 sounds. Okay, there's my USB drive E. So now let's select the drive. Okay, now it sees it. Mass storage device USB 64 gig. So we're going to say continue, and then we're going to say flash. And it's unusually large for an SD card USB stick. Are you sure you want to flash this drive, or are you sure you want to continue? Yes. It's a big SD card. And it's one of the fast, high-speed video ones, too. So it should work nice. It can hold lots of games. So it looks like it's doing its thing. It's 2% flashing. So I'll go ahead and pause the video here until it's done. Okay, so it came up with this, like, the location's not available, and it wants me to format the drive. This is just Windows saying, like, hey, I see a partition, but it's not formatted with the file system I recognize. So we're just going to cancel that. And I'm just going to come down here and eject this drive if I can. Oh, that's the device. I want to eject. Safely remove hardware. It doesn't give me the option to eject it there. It's probably this one right here. Well, okay. How do I eject it? We'll close this. You know, I'm a Linux MacBook guy. I don't use I support Windows for a living, but I just don't use it that much. I don't know. We're just gonna unplug it. There we go. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my card back out, and we'll go ahead and get this card in this RetroPie. Alright, so there's one thing I didn't really think about. I put the board in here, but this card has to go in here. We get this off. And so the card's got to go right here. So there's no cutout for the card. So we're going to have to pull this back out of here. I think if we just pry out on this and push up from the bottom, probably, there, yep. And that'll just kind of push back out. Try to get it out of here. There. Okay. So I think this is just, it just pushes in the end here. I think it just slides in there like so. Okay, good. Nothing tricky there. So now we're just ready to go ahead and put this back in. Get it all lined up here just right. The trick is that these have to actually sit back just a little from the opening. Go in there the right way. Just look at there. Okay. Okay, so that's all set now. So now we're ready to go ahead and hook this thing up and power it on, and I guess see what it does. So I'm going to have my USB dongle here, and it even shows you on the case, which is nice. This is your USB, this one's your power. So we'll have that going in there, and then this will be plugging into that. I'm going to hook a keyboard up to it at least the first time here, just in case I run into problems. But normally if I just have the one controller, I can probably just run this one dongle. It'd be nice if they made, I'm sure they do, make a cable that comes out to like dual USBs that are hooked together. But that's okay. So that'll go there. I could probably just like rubber band those two together or stick them on the back of the TV that way. I'm sure they probably also make a hub that just goes right to a micro USB. And then, of course, my power, we'll hook that up. And then I'm going to have my mini HDMI. It fits right there. Oh no, it fits down here. Okay. I'm going to open my HDMI cable. So far, this is pretty quick and painless. I thought I'd probably have to like have a Linux prompt and install stuff and compile it, but no, it's just an image. So this is my super flexible USB cable, or not USB, HDMI cable. Oh, this is a smaller HDMI cable. Ooh, look at that, it is a mini. Oh, that's exciting. And what about this side? Is it mini or is it full? Oh, this side is full size. Oh, sweet. This is just one I've had laying in a box forever. I didn't know this was mini. So, yeah. Now I don't need my adapter, and I got a nice flexible cable. I can plug that right into my television over here. Okay. That's happy times. And then my power, of course, is going to just plug into this other micro USB right here. Boom. And so I was reading you want one that does at least 2 amps, and this one says on its output that it's a 3 amp max, so this should be fine, I'm hoping. I've got my Raspberry Pi right here. I've got my USB hub here. I got this keyboard hooked up to it. I've got this controller hooked up to it. So now I'm going to plug my power in there and turn my TV on. Let me get my remote. Turn this guy on. Come on, and then I'll have to do my input. Come on. Okay, input. This is going to be on HDMI 3. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put some power to this guy and see what happens. I'll go ahead and move you over to the TV here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and plug our power in. I got power plugged in. I don't think anything's happening. It doesn't have a light or anything, I don't think. Oh yeah, it does. It's got a green light on it. It's like not staying on solid. My thought is maybe I'm not getting enough output as far as juice to power this thing up. It looks like it had signal. It started to get signal there for a second. As it came up, I saw the HDMI 4 come up on the TV there for a second. Oh no. Let me try to see if I can find a better AC adapter for this guy around here. Okay, so I got this figured out. The HDMI cable I had that I was so excited to find because it was mini HDMI, that cable's bad. About 8 years ago, it's been sitting in a bag. But that's okay, I still have this adapter and I got another HDMI cable out. So now, the blinking light here is normal. That means it's got activity. And so it's going to kind of come on and start blinking. And that's it, just doing its thing. Hopefully it's going to do its thing. It'll take it a minute here, and then it should come up. It was just coming up. We're on HDMI 4. Let me try unplugging. I don't know, maybe we just have to give it some time here. I don't know. It's like, I think it's working. I think the HDMI is just not seating all the way with this case. So we're going to take it out of the case. We're going to plug our HDMI cable, make sure it's all the way seated. And then go down here, plug that guy in, let's see what happens. There we go. That's what it is. That case wasn't allowing it to seat, the HDMI to seat all the way in there. So this might not be the best case to use. I might have to take a Dremel and Dremel that hole out so that the HDMI cable can fit all the way in. Well, that's good. That means I can go back to my flexible cable though. Let me unplug this HDMI and try that one. And I moved this one to HDMI 2 now. If I can get it to go in. Okay, now let me go to HDMI 2. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. It's running a check disk, which is probably because I rebooted it 50,000 times. Just glue that right to the back of my television. That's what I need to do. And just glue it out there. Let's see if I can't find a better case. For $5, I don't know that I really want to go through the return process. I'll just cut this whole section out if I have to. But if you're looking, I'll put a link to this down below still, but if you're looking, you might want to get something where the board seat's a little closer. I don't know if they make any. I guess you could probably take your HDMI cable maybe and just, you know, kind of take the plastic edge up back a little bit with like a little Dremel. Alright, it's doing its check disk thing. Oh, it looks just like Linux. It makes me so happy. Of course, right now I don't have my keyboards plugged in there and everything. Let me get that in there. Cannot open access to console. The root account is locked. Checking in progress on disk 1. Press enter to continue. Well, I don't have a keyboard right at the moment. Alright, I was going to have to reboot it. I don't think it's seeing my keyboard because it wasn't plugged in at first. Okay, we'll reboot it again. This is the stuff that's fun. This is so much better than handling tickets for people that can't make their printer work. If I could just get a job playing with this kind of stuff all day long, I'd be happy, man. Oh, looks like I got some emulation station. No gamepads detected. Hold a button on your gamepad to configure it or press F4 to quit at any time. I don't have any num lock or caps lock on my keyboard that's plugged into this USB hub. I think there's supposed to be an LED light on this USB hub too, and I don't have anything there. So the question is that USB hub any good? I guess what I could do to know for sure is to unplug that and just plug my keyboard in. So that's my controller. This one's my keyboard. So what if we just plug our keyboard in? Let's see. That was just going to stop right there every time so I can press enter. Alright, well, we'll pick this back up. It looks like I'm going to have to get a different keyboard dongle. I know that keyboard's good and it works, but it is not seem to be working on there. I don't know if it's the wrong kind of dongle or whatever, but I'm just going to make sure I get one that's supposed to work with a Raspberry Pi. And we'll have to order it and wait for it to come in. That's why this is a hobby.